talk, girl talk. What's better than girl talk? Girl talk, girl talk. What's better than girl talk? Chat with the ladies about their day, the ups and downs along the way. She's a cook, she's a chauffeur, she's a worker bee. First in the door and last to leave. Girl talk, girl talk. What's better than girl talk? Girl talk, girl talk. What's better than girl talk?
Welcome to Girl Talk. My name is Regina Ayars.
And I'm Carol Voisin.
And Girl Talk is a lively discussion about challenges, issues, successes of women here in our Rogue Valley. We showcase women who are doing exceptional things for their families, for the community, and even broader topics, statewide activities. So this is part 2 of an episode where we have a woman here that is exceptionally good at multitasking. And so we're going to start back up where we left off on part 1 and finish up on, well, Carol, you need to introduce
yes.
Tonia, sorry.
Yeah, Tonia, this time would you say a bit about why you chose to be a lawyer? Because you were, it sounds like you were at a time when, you know, it was still very few women entering the law.
Yeah, the classes were still maybe about a third, maybe even less. But yeah, I just have always been fascinated with government and democracy. And so my undergrad degree was in political science. And in doing that coursework, I had the opportunity of reading, you know, important Supreme Court cases, you know, written by Justice Brennan and stuff like that. So it inspired me to go on and and see what I can make of
Here
that.
you are.
Sometimes I think I wouldn't recommend it to many people. It's
Why?
It's one of these professions where you don't ever turn it off. And it's another aspect of it that I often used a phrase to characterize it is the work will always fill the time allotted. So in other words, there's always some more research you could do, some more, you know, polishing of the actual writing that you can do before you meet that deadline. So doing the kinds of lawyering that I'm doing, it can be very trying because it is deadline oriented, and so yeah, you're on all the time.
So who is your role model on the Supreme Court, past or present?
Well, you know, I don't know about role model. They all.
Ruth.
Well, you know, I'm reading the book that they publish in her own words right now.
Oh, good.
But, yeah.
Oh, good. That's the
But
one I want to read.
there have been some really just incredible folks on the court that it wouldn't necessarily be a woman. I mean, Sandra Day was great. Ruth, yes, but you know, Justice Brennan was just somebody that because of the times, and for me, it was a real progressive way of looking at what we are in this country. And unfortunately, we've rolled back some of that, but yes, it's nice to be able to practice in the federal courts. And in fact, I had a recent case that I won, I guess it was in the spring of last year, on a Fourth Amendment issue. And actually it was the closest I've gotten to the Supreme Court. I often often file petitions for certiorari in some of my cases, my habeas cases, but they're usually denied because the Supreme Court only takes in really important stuff, right? So this case, because I had won it, the government was seriously considering seeking certiorari, and so it was at the Solicitor General's office
What
for
is
about.
that term you're using?
It's called certiorari. So it's when you petition the court to accept review, because the court's review is discretionary. So this is an old term of art. It's a Latin term, and this is you actually petition for them to grant that and actually review the circuit court's decision. And in this case, there is, and oftentimes they will do that when there's a split in the circuit. So some circuits,
Like Ninth Circuit for us.
yeah. So Ninth Circuit was, their ruling in this case was in conflict with 2 or 3 other circuits back east. So it was close. But of course, and I had a lot of Supreme Court practitioners actually reaching out to me, like at law clinics at Harvard and Yale and Stanford. So they were going to, I'm a sole practitioner. They know I was a Criminal Justice Act panel attorney. They were going to see if they can assist me. And
Oh, how nice.
Yeah, but what was really nice in the end was one of them mentioned that he appreciated the fact that I just kept focusing on the clients and the client's interest, because I actually, challenged the government's request for staying the mandate and stuff like that. And ultimately, this is the best kind of win, is when they sort of run out of time and run out of the right procedural context to actually file the cert petition. So I felt like that was a good one. Don't need to go to the Supreme Court all the time, especially if you get the right decision at the Court of Appeals.
But still, that's nice to have on your resume.
Yes,
Supreme Court.
Thank you for the opportunity to talk about it. Yeah, I don't get that every day. So
Let's
that's
get back
really
to
impressive.
transportation.
Yeah,
you want
sure.
to finish up
Sure.
what you were talking
Absolutely.
about before?
So we were talking about how soon we are going to have some monies that are coming in from the state, and I did a little list of some of the expansions that we're going to do on that. But there's also another pot of money that our brilliant planners have put together this new program, and I believe it's really cutting edge. And so they've recently submitted this grant already and to the state, and we won't know probably until July, August whether it's funded. But this is what it is. I pulled up the piece of paper so that I can make sure I'm characterizing correctly. But it's called Ashland Demand Response Microtransit.
Nice.
So it's going to operate just like a taxi or a hail ride program. It's going to be a shared ride though. So now you can contact Lyft, and oftentimes you'll have the option whether you want to share a ride or have a private ride. This will just be a shared ride, and we'll be using hybrid vans that will also have handicap access.
great.
So we're pretty excited about
That is exciting.
So 24 hours notice?
Let's see. I am
Or
not
less.
sure whether it's 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. Yeah.
So is that different than the Lyft that I see around town?
The Lyft is part of our dedicated route service. So this is different. This is different.
Yeah.
Yep, and it's hail a ride. So this is not a dedicated route, but we are making sure that those that have special needs have access to using this by way of these vans.
And is this free, or are you charging?
No, I think there will be a cost to this. I'm just
Yeah.
not exactly sure what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah, that's
We'll
cool.
see how it works.
And why did you choose Ashland?
Well, I think there's, let's put it this way. We'll have an Ashland circulator, hopefully, when we end up making these expansions, but we know that there's a real interest, always has been, at our lovely community out in Mountain Meadows.
Yes.
And this is a way of satisfying that.
Good.
Because it's something that definitely we've been wanting to do. And maybe the circular will as well. I'm just not exactly sure where that route will be going and stuff, but this is dial-a-ride. So.
This is what they wanted.
Yeah.
This is perfect.
Good.
Excellent.
Yay.
Thank you.
Yes.
That's wonderful.
Is there an election coming up?
Yes, there is. We have 3 seats that are up for re-election, and just the 3 incumbents, myself, Bill Mansfield, and Tom Fink, have filed for those seats, and so it's an uncontested election. But I always take an opportunity to, as I can, remind people in the community how important our May elections are. Our district elections are extremely important, and it's sometimes hard to recall or feel how the folks that are running your transportation district or your fire district or your school district, how important that is in your life, but it really is. So hopefully everybody will remember to vote.
When are the ballots coming out?
I believe they come out like the first week of May. And so
Okay.
then we have 2 weeks, and the actual ballot drop date, the deadline is May 21st. So
Is there anything else? What else is on the ballot?
So we have school districts.
School districts,
and
okay.
we do have some contested races in the 549C district. And so, and then we also have a special interest in the Eagle Point race. I think there's a bit of a contested seat up there as well. So how about if I transition into talking about my role as the recent role of the chair of the Democratic Party?
Great, we want to talk politics, huh,
Yes,
Carol?
let's go.
Speaking of elections, so yes, I took a break from local politics for a couple years after the 2016 election. I was busy doing some other really intense work for 2 years, but in that time, the party has gone through a bit of a transition, and I would get the emails, but I wasn't showing up to the Central Committee meetings just because I was really overwhelmed with all the work I was doing. But and I saw that there's, it was a trying time this last 2 years. But one of the things that they did that I'm really really fortunate for is they really spent some time in updating our bylaws. And so our bylaws now, it always helps when you're going through transitions to have rules to rely on, right? And so we've got some great bylaws, and we've got, standing committees that are written into the bylaws now, and everybody is so active. So I've been really glad to see the transition for years. I meet people in the community, bad mouthing the party, and I always say it is what you make it, right? That's the thing about our party system is while you may not feel like we have too much control over what happens at the national level, in fact, the way it's all structured, we do have some abilities to have input, even at that level. But it all starts at the local level.
Right.
And you have to get involved at the local level, and there's some really great opportunities. And right now we have incredible energy. And so we've got, I didn't want to misspeak as far as the number of committees. So let me look at my agenda for Thursday night's Central Committee meeting. But yeah, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 standing committees.
Wow.
Give us a couple of examples of what they might be.
We have a Budget and Finance Committee, get some of that business done. We've got a Campaign Committee, a Communications Committee, Community Outreach. So those are the folks that are organizing our tabling at events like at Pear Blossom. We have, this is so exciting. This is also a new development over the last 2 years. It's called the Neighborhood Leader Program.
Oh, yes.
So it is
That is excellent.
It's a focused program that's sort of a model that started out at the DPO level, and a lot of the counties have adopted it, and it's our Get Out the Vote program. And it is one of our most dynamic committees. We have some really incredible go-getters and people that love to canvass, love to inspire the community to vote. And I'll say one of our focuses, I believe, for at least the 2 years that I'm now going to be chair, is to make sure the community understands how important all the local stuff is. I want people, because as we all know, watching what's going on at the national level can be a little bit discouraging, and people can get really cynical, and we need to realize that we're all in this together, and what's happening at our, who's getting elected to our city councils, our county commissions, our district boards, those are all really important to our community, and everybody can get involved in actually running. Unfortunately, it's a lot of volunteer time, so that's always an issue, other than their county commission, of course. But they can get involved in running, or they can get involved in just doing a phone bank during election time or whatever it might be. So that's one of our goals, is to really focus on what goes on locally, because we believe it definitely trickles up to what happens statewide and nationally.
So trickling up, I have a question, and I've never quite understood this. How does how are the delegates to the convention? How are they selected? Because I know Jackson County sends a couple.
Oh, yes.
1 or 2 or 3 or 4.
So
how is it that you get elected or chosen to go to the convention to actually be a delegate that votes?
Right. So there's a selection process, and I'm not going to be able to tell you the actual numbers that we get, but each county will select a couple, and then each of the congressional districts also select some. So that's, and then they're delegates to the state committee, And then at some point, we're working on the new plan right now, and I haven't had a chance to read it. But it's at some point then the delegates to the national level are also selected.
They're selected from the state?
The state and the congressional committees. I mean, the congressional districts.
Oh, okay. For some reason, I thought that happened
So
at the county level.
So we send delegates to the state, and they may be eligible to be elected by the state.
Okay, I didn't understand that. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
That
Now,
clarifies
isn't there
that.
an effort nationwide to kind of address the issue of the Electoral College by having each of the states actually have their delegates vote for the popular vote?
Yep.
And there's 13 states or 27 states that have agreed to that. And if we get to 2/3 perhaps, then that will be something that will be done nationwide. Now, is Oregon moving in that direction?
Excuse me. I know we're having a discussion about it. I don't know whether there's something at the state level yet as to a potential resolution. So I wish I had more information on that. But I know there's a discussion going on in Oregon as well.
That's good.
Yeah, it's interesting, the changes that have been sort of a result and a response to what happened in 2016. So there's been a lot of movement in the party at all different levels, right? So,
Now, Tonia,
yes,
the Democrats have 20 people running for.
She works at the local
work at
level.
the
I know, but I've got to ask this.
I know.
20 people running for president of the United States. So can't we get one of them to Southern Oregon?
You know,
somehow?
since you've asked me that, Carol, I'm going to work on it.
Oh, thank you.
You know,
I'll help you. I'll volunteer.
Okay, good. It didn't occur to me that we would really have that opportunity, but let's just work on it.
Great
Okay, good.
fundraising opportunity.
Oh, you bet.
Get a lot of
Yes,
people to come to that.
We're looking forward.
Yeah, we
to,
got Hillary here.
Yes.
We did.
So let's get.
Okay,
Okay.
let's work on it.
Okay,
All
you
right.
got it. You got it.
We'll put the word out.
Okay.
So I heard again this. I don't know the details on this, but the possibility Oregon will get another district with the census, and would that mean that our district here would change?
That's a good question. I don't know where they would put
Okay.
that district.
I don't
but
know
my
where they'd
guess,
put it
My
either.
guess is the population that's growing is up north. So
Portland.
Yeah.
there's
Maybe
they'd-
Bend, maybe Central
Possible.
Oregon.
Possible.
Yeah.
I'll come back and we have a chat about that. I'll
Okay,
figure it out.
alrighty.
I'll look it up and figure it out. But yeah, we're really excited about the energy at the local level here. We've got several really active caucuses too: environmental caucus, the LBGT caucus, and we have a meeting going on every night.
Oh, wow.
I'm not kidding. It's
That's
just,
good.
It's really amazing.
That's good.
People are working. So we've got great ideas. Hopefully, I'm going to state them so that I get them out there. So I have
Okay.
to accomplish them. But we'd like to do things like a podcast.
Oh, fun.
Nice.
Where we're actually we're doing and talking about local. What's going on at the talent at the city council meetings, what's going on at the county commissioners meetings, just interviewing some of our folks that are volunteering for all these districts and all these positions.
Oh, great idea.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
just we want to again focus on ourselves and celebrate the folks that are involved and hopefully inspire others to get involved.
Right.
Well, go ahead, Carol. I was just going to say the way Carol and I met was that I was precinct captain for District 2
kidding.
here in
Wow.
Ashland.
Good for you.
And that's the biggest precinct in Ashland. And so I was looking for people in the various neighborhoods to kind of step up and take a look at their. And so I found Carol on
Yep.
Fox Street. And so that would have been like in 2004.
Five
I
or
wanna say.
four or five.
Yeah, yeah. So you make you make friends.
No, it's yes.
You know,
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
a fun job. I like being, organizing and scheduling
Well,
things.
good.
It
Well,
was-
if you're not involved now, we
it
can
was-
get you back
It
involved.
was fun. I liked it.
Okay, I have a question
Yes.
for you.
See if I can answer it.
Yeah. Now, you're chair of the Jackson County Democrats. So what kind of relationship do you have with the Jackson County Republicans?
Well, we see each other at booths when we're out at tabling.
At booths?
At booths,
Or
you know,
booths?
booths.
Booths.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's it?
I don't know that the former chairs ever had any kind of outreach to them that I should continue.
on,
But
yeah.
I'm not aware.
Well,
so.
Bernie was just on Fox News. I think he did a damn good job.
Good.
Darn good job.
I will say that in 2000, I mean, we've had outreach efforts where we specifically try to have nonpartisan conversations. So we did a series of conversations, or folks at the Democratic Party helped sponsor these nonpartisan conversations in our community. We did one on our affordable housing issue. We did one on transportation. And
Okay.
I'm trying to remember what the third one was, but they were very successful. We had 90 people coming out to the library. So we are about having conversations and creating nice, safe spaces for people to talk, and that's what it was about. We had the microphone going around, and everybody got to talk about what they wanted to about this topic. And we had some experts there, but they were just facilitating the discussion. They weren't
Nice.
there to,
Okay.
there was a
Very
lovely
good.
model. We may
That
try to
is
do
a
some
good
more
model.
of that.
That
Right?
is,
Yeah.
please do more of
Okay.
that. Yeah, that's a great model.
Good.
Very good.
So what's your annual fundraiser?
So we passed quite an aspirational budget this time, but we have our Wine in the Garden event, usually out of South Stage Cellars every year, and planning on doing
What time of
that.
year is that?
I think we do that in June. I think there's a discussion about maybe changing the date, but it's in the summertime, early summer. And then we have this year we're thinking about another big event, and I don't want to speak out of turn here. I'm going to let the fundraising committee decide exactly what it's going to be, but they're kicking around a bunch of ideas. And the other thing, I'll say it now, hopefully it'll come to fruition, but we heard from Senator Merkley that he may be willing to come and be a keynote
good.
speaker at an
great,
event, so we'll probably
good.
try to get that on the calendar
Yeah,
here
very
in the
good.
fall. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought there was a Roosevelt dinner that
It
happened.
used to be, and
that's
I
not
don't-
happening
That's not
anymore.
happening,
Okay, okay.
and it's another thing I've been thinking about, and maybe we reinitiate it with Senator Merkley's coming, and because. Yeah, I think it's for some reason I don't even know when it fell off, but I was thinking about it the other day. It's like, why don't we?
Instead of Roosevelt, have an Obama one.
It was the Kennedy Roosevelt dinner, and it was
okay.
so both
That's
both,
right. That's right.
Both John Kennedy and Eleanor Roosevelt had come and been in the Pear Blossom Parade, right, over the years,
okay.
and so that's how it started, and it was the big fundraiser for quite a long
Oh,
time.
have Obama.
Yeah, I just heard her speak up in Portland.
Oh yeah,
last
great.
month. She
She's
was great.
dynamic, isn't
Yeah,
she?
she is.
Yeah, she's very
Yeah.
inspirational.
So 2020 is going to be coming up here pretty soon.
Yep,
Those
and
elections.
We're working on getting
some
people
candidates, some good
getting
candidates.
people engaged and out to vote. That's what we want to do. But we've got we got a primary in the meantime, right? But
Yeah.
and what we're trying
right.
to do is fill our coffers somewhat so that we're actually buying new technology and that kind of stuff so that a lot of our volunteers can work remotely. We're upkeeping our office, but we'd like to be able to see what we can do to get some budgets created and some money in some budgets and carry it over to 2020 so that we have lots of resources so that we can assist at all levels.
So how does the state Democratic office, how do they assist the local ones?
Well, we all do our own fundraising.
Yeah.
They do have a bit of a grant program. So as an example, we're going to be asking for some money through that grants program to get some technology. We're going to
good.
get some cameras for security and things of that nature, and some. So we've got a plan, but it's a little amount. But otherwise, yeah, we both do our own fundraising. Yeah.
Where's the office located?
Oh goodness.
On 6th Street
yeah, it is on
or
6th Street.
9th or something like
6th
that?
It's on 6th Street.
6th
Yeah, it's
Street,
right
okay.
across from that little rogue Federal Credit Union
Yeah.
standalone
Yeah, I've been
drive-through.
there.
Yeah.
Right,
Yep.
right. It's easy to find.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're going to stay there.
Yeah, I mean, we have a need, and I guess I could put this out to the public out there, a need to have larger spaces to meet these days. And so, of course, we can sign up for the library, but our needs are expanding now. So it'd be really nice if there was anybody that had large conference rooms that were willing to help us access them. Obviously, our meetings are at night, but if there's...
Right. And so you want those to be in Medford, of course.
Yeah, I mean, we've been doing some meetings down here at the Fire District 3 in Phoenix, and the libraries down here for some of our local groups. Like some of our precinct people from Phoenix have been meeting, and we have little area groups, like Mountain Meadows is one of our area groups, and so yeah, but otherwise we've been very happy to have all the past volunteers maintain that infrastructure for us. Because I remember back in the day when everything was by Rolodex. We had lovely woman Jean Mack. She was quintessentially the office, right?
Right. I
And so
remember
we
her.
would always go out during the campaign, during the general election, looking to find an office space, and that becomes very, very difficult. So we've had some, the volunteers over the last 8 years have been really good at maintaining and keeping us capable of maintaining an office space, which is great. Yeah, it's been nice. Something we're going to keep up. But
That's
in fact,
really
I'm
good.
going to be writing a fundraiser letter this weekend, so you may see it in your boxes.
Okay.
It's one of the things I need to do.
Yeah,
Do you
that's
have
good.
A closing question? We're coming up to the end of the show.
I know.
Carol.
When are you going to run again?
Oh, what a nice thing to say. I don't know.
I mean, besides RVTD.
Oh, right. Yeah, we are doing that this May. That's right. I should leave it at that.
No.
Well, I live in the county, so I'm unable to go serve in my local city council, that kind of thing. So, and quite frankly, I'm not sure about going to Salem. So I will continue to try to recruit good candidates, and who knows, maybe one day we'll run for county commissioner again. We'll
Okay,
see
I
how
hope
that
you
goes.
do. I
That's
hope
awful
you do.
nice of you,
I hope
Carol. I
you do.
appreciate that.
Great.
Seriously,
Thank you.
that would be great.
Yeah, we need some more women role models. They're so crucial.
Well, yeah, another way of doing it is to get some other women in those positions, and then maybe I can get hired on as county council, and we can get things rolling. We can do that too, right?
Absolutely.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's good. That's really
Well, thanks
All
so
right.
much for being on the
Sure.
show today. We really appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Appreciate it.
And
And you do multitask. Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
yeah, you do. A couple of hats
job
there
at
you
that.
got on. So, Carol, you want to thank our crew?
I do. We're all volunteer crew here, and I want to thank everyone, starting with Wanda, who's the director, Julian, who's in charge of graphics, Dimple, who did audio, Balance is on our camera, and John Letts is lighting. Dorothy and David are both on cameras. Thank you. And Gary, who's our manager. Thank you.
Yes, thanks everybody.
Yes, we couldn't do this without you.
No, and Girl Talk can be seen on Rogue Valley TV, Channel 15 with Ashland HomeNet, and Channel 182 with Charter, although I think they've been bought out by somebody else. Now that could be we're on at 3 o'clock on Saturdays, as well as 6:30 on Thursdays. And also you can watch us on demand and on archive.org and search for Girl Talk. And I also want to thank the Digital Media Center, that's the facility we're in right now, and SOU for providing that to local producers and giving us the opportunity to record and actually have live shows. So thanks everybody for being here today, and thank you, Tonia.
Thank you.
And we'll see you again soon.
Bye-bye.
What's better than girl talk? Girl talk, girl talk. What's better than girl talk? Up before dawn, the coffee is gone. The kids are still sleeping, but not for long. Cook, she's a chauffeur, she's a worker bee. First in the door and last to leave. Girl talk, girl talk. What's better than girl talk? A chat with the ladies about their day, the ups and downs along the way. She's a cook, she's a chauffeur, she's a worker bee. First in the door and last to leave. Makes way less than the guy next door. She knows she's worth much more. Girl